Morning, BC. Mr. Rick here once again on a Sunday morning, and I got up to check my messages this morning, and I had a request that I want to fulfill. This is from Johnny. I'm not sure how to pronounce Johnny's last name. If I get it wrong, please forgive me. Johnny Vasvag. He writes, "Hi, Mr. Rick. I was wondering if you could show some of your easy listening and Exotica albums from the 1950s. Thanks for a nice laid-back channel, Johnny." Sure, I'd be more than happy to do that. The 1950s music is some of my favorite music to begin with, and I enjoy the easy listening stuff as well as other forms, but I do. So sure, I'd be more than happy to honor that request. So I've pulled 10 out of the collection, and I'd like to show them to you. Number one, here's one from Jackie Gleason. This is from 1957. I just got through listening to this for the first time. Jackie Gleason, when I was listening to this, I was thinking to myself, Jackie Gleason is not a personality that you would associate yourself with an easy listening album to me. But he, back then, did an excellent job. He put out several albums, and this is just one of them. An orchestrated, nice, slow sounding music, and with a trumpet that is playing, taking the lead on it. And it's just a delicious album. He put out several of these. This is just one of them for the Love Hours is what this one's called. But if you're not familiar, if you enjoy orchestrated music with just a slight jazz tint to it, this is a good listen. Jackie Gleason and the Love Hours. Here's another one of my favorites. We just lost her not long ago, Doris Day. She lived to be 94, 95 years old or something. But this is her Hollywood collection from 1955, where she goes through and listens to, or sings Tea for Two, Lullaby of Broadway, Cuddle Up a Little Bit Closer, and several others. Making Whoopies on Here. She recorded that one with Danny Kaye. And Secret Love was a hit for her. Love Me or Leave Me was another one that was from another movie. And Doris Day, she was a great singer in her day. I've got a lot of her records. Back before Mitch Miller had Mitch Miller sing along with Mitch and the Gang, him and Percy Faith got together, and they put together some interesting music. Percy Faith and the orchestra, and Mitch Miller himself was an English horn and oboe player. And he plays the English horn and the oboe on this album. This is a very good album, very good sound actually. Of course, Percy Faith is no slack as far as a recording artist. He put out some great songs and great hits in his day. And Mitch Miller, of course, was a producer. And without Mitch Miller, you wouldn't have had people like Doris Day, Tony Bennett, Frankie Laine, and several others. He is responsible for the career of a lot of the pop singers back in that day. But this is called Music Until Midnight. Mitch Miller and Percy Faith getting together. Here's a nice light jazz album. This is Ella Fitzgerald's Sweet and Hot. And this is a good album also. It amazes me how the albums, the pop albums especially, that you find in the bargain bins that people aren't interested in. Ella Fitzgerald, of course, in her day was one of the great vocalists, especially of light jazz, and this is no exception. This is a very good album also. Sweet and Hot. Benny Carter and Cy Oliver, Andre Previn, and John Scott Trotter are the orchestra directors on this album. This basically is a compilation album of Ella Fitzgerald, but a very good. That's from 1956. This guy was part of the Glenn Miller Orchestra back in the 40s, and he struck out on his own with the Glenn Miller sound after Glenn Miller died, and he had a lot of good success with that. Ray Anthony, what can I say about him? He had a great sound. Of course, you know, a lot of it attributed to Glenn Miller, but still, the albums he put out are very good to listen to. This one, of course, is Dream Dancing, and that was the start of a bunch of Dream Dancing albums. Dream Dancing Over the Waves is one I've got, and several others. But Ray Anthony was a very good artist in his day also. I'm not sure when that one came out. Here's a guy by the name of Harry Belafonte that came out and did his thing. He was famous for calypso music, of course. This is actually his second album, but this was the album that really put him on the map. This is the album that Day-O came off of. I Do Adore Her, that's another one that was a hit for him. Let's see, Come Back Liza and Brown Skin Girl and Man Smart, Woman Smarter. Those are all hits from 1956 that Harry recorded. He had a very good career also as a folk singer. He didn't try to stay with calypso music, although he did a lot of music, and he's responsible for the recognition, I would say, of calypso music in this country. And this is, of course, is a very good album also. His second album, Calypso, from Harry Belafonte from 1956. Here's another good one. Tony Bennett. This album from 57. This album's not in the greatest condition, I will admit. There are some scratches on it, but it is a good album. Tony in his very big day. Of course, Mitch Miller was responsible for bringing Tony Bennett up. This album, the big hit off of it is The Boulevard of Broken Dreams. That's one of his greatest hits from that year. And this also a very good album. Tony was... I love me some Tony Bennett. I've always enjoyed his music. The further back you go, the better he gets, in my opinion. But he does a lot of standards on here. You know, It Had to Be You. I'm just a lucky so-and-so. Can't give you anything but love. Always. And Without a Song, just to name a few of them. But Tony Bennett, a great artist, and I can't say enough about him. He's a great singer. I enjoy his records a lot. Here's another guy I enjoy listening to, Pat Boone. When I was growing up, we didn't listen to a lot of Pat Boone. We didn't pay much attention to Pat Boone. Every once in a while, you'd hear Love Letters in the Sand by him on the radio or something. But he was kind of like Doris Day. They just music that I, for one, wasn't paying much attention to. And later on, I got his greatest hits and his greatest hits volume 2, and he was just a great singer. What can I say? He had a lot of great songs and a lot of great hits, and I enjoy listening to Pat Boone. I'll be honest with you. He's very on the light side of rock and roll in some of his stuff, but mostly he was an easy listening artist, and a very good one. And he's another good one. Here's another one that Mitch Miller is responsible for, and that's the Brothers Four. He also brought them along. This is their first album. I think this is from 1957 or 58. And they do the Zulu Warrior on here. Yellow Bird is another one. Greenfields, which was their signature record, is on here, and I think that's what really got them started. Hard Traveling also. Dick Foley, Mike Kirkland, John Payne, and Bob Flick are the names of the Brothers Four. And they had a nice little career there going for about 5 or 7 years. And last but not least, one of my favorite albums that I've got, I can't say enough about this album, Nat King Cole. I've shown this one before, but it deserves a second look, because The Very Thought of You is just a bunch of beautiful love song ballads, mostly about falling in love. And I remember, as I said before, when I first fell in love with a woman, this album, I don't know how, it just fell into, I found it, and I just love the songs on here. That just does a great job. He does The Very Thought of You, but beautiful. I Wish I Knew, Cherie, The More I See You, and several others. If you ever find a copy of this album and you enjoy listening to, they're not fast ballads, they're slow ballads, but they're very beautifully done, and you can't go wrong with this album. Nat King Cole, The Very Thought of You from 1958. And John, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope the rest of you did also. Some easy listening from the 1950s, just a small pile, but I don't have a lot of time. So, we hope that you'll leave a little comment down below if you enjoyed it. And keep looking. We'll be back with some more a little later on. But until we meet you again, this is Mr. Rick saying that if the good Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise, we'll see you before long.